So, what was I up to for the last 2 weeks that I wasn't uploading? Well, I will explain it in a moment. I just want to say I want this video, to be. I made a community post with the update of the combiner list, and I will make a timestamp if you just wish to skip to me going over the explanations of the entire combiner list. But now, for those who are curious, I will explain so what was going on. So, the first and the most important thing is that I just quite simply was way too busy. When I'm not working my full-time job, I was working on getting the my family's other house in order. My father passed away 2 years ago, and we weren't really able to go there and do anything, due to emotional reasons. But now we're kind of, when everything is kind of settling down, now we are just trying to kind of get that house back in order. So that's another thing. And when I wasn't doing that, I'm just doing a side hustle to make some extra money by I just found some new love that I had, well, old love that I had for some of the retro consoles, especially PlayStation 2. So I pretty much, I'm just buying them, refurbishing them, and reselling them, to make some extra cash. So I'm just a crazy busy, I don't really have a lot of downtime. So it's really as simple as that. Sure, partially I kind of, am not having fun with the games I used to, but it's mainly the reasons that I just simply do not have enough time to play as I was able to before, and I hope that will change eventually. But for now I'm under a bit of a load. Now, let me just adjust the camera so there's no conflict. Yeah, that will be fine. So, the list updated, alright? So I put a lot more details into it this time around, and what I've put first is the Prime League Wars offense, fully maxed out, of course. Now if you're doing Prime League Wars, I'm making this list with the expectations that you have combiners at maximum available rarity, level 25 with all Titan perks. So, and here I have some notes. ADE stands for After That Effect, which is a boost for your squad, very relevant for wars, absolutely. So that's going to be a very crucial thing in the ranking of this combiner. So I did have to go with Omega Superman Overload as first. They are just incredibly powerful after the buff. Their After That Effect is absolutely amazing, fantastic, and it really helps your squad, survive a lot longer and just dish out more damage. His damage is really decent and survivability is decent. It's a fair balance, but the squad support is where he really shines at. Next up, Computron and Leo Kaiser. Thereafter that effect is okay, it's niche, really niche, but it's okay, I guess. They do very fair amount of damage to buildings, but absolutely huge amount of damage to outposts. So if you just pop outposts, definitely he's gonna kill basically all of them. He can really be a huge help in regards to that, and his survivability is also pretty decent. So yeah, very solid combiner. Now Volcanicus and Predaking, I have him at third spot. Now his After That effect really sucks. It's just Megatronus effect, and very few bots really benefit from it. Mostly melee bots benefit from it, but melee bots are not really performing that well in the current meta game. With everything is just not melee friendly. So yeah, there's a lot of diminishing returns there. However, his damage is pretty much the biggest out of every single combiner. He absolutely can really wipe out entire areas. He's very powerful, and so his survivability at 5-star is really decent. So he will give you less squad support, but a lot more raw damage. So if you really need that, go for him. Now Skyrim and Glavatronus, thereafter that effect is still absolutely fantastic combiner to go for. Their force ability is also really strong, and they do pretty much mostly instant damage, and it's also element neutral. Very powerful combiner still. He was like kind of nerfed in a sense that he wasn't working as intended. Basically, his 4-star skill was supposed to give him 10 seconds of immunity, but for whatever reason, under the code it was giving him 15 seconds. So it's now 10 seconds again. So he kind of nerfed than he was what he was before, but okay, I can understand it. He was intended to be 10 for a very long time. Okay, Hunation and God Neptune. Now, they're a huge subject to change, and honestly, I would probably avoid using them because who knows what's gonna happen with them. However, their After That effect is fantastic. It gives a lot of damage to your squad. That's absolutely the case. It's for a short period of time, but so you have to be careful how you use it and how you time it. His damages, survivability, I guess they are okay. You know, you're not gonna expect him to do huge damage, but he's gonna be a lot harder to use now as well. Yeah, pretty much. I feel like he's very near in terms of damage to Skyrim and Glavatronus. So Raiden and Dino King, they basically have no after that effect that's really useful at all. They do mid damage to buildings, you know, decent damage to outposts, and their survivability is okay. Yeah, pretty much, you know, all there is to him. He needs a lot more work to actually be decent. Defense around Abominus, really great after that effect. You know, that protection for your squad can really be significant. Very low damage and very low survivability, however, so a lot of players mainly use him because for the after that effect, and a lot of players are timing out because their combiners survive too long but don't do enough damage in return. So some like to use him to make their squad stronger while also not doing much because they just need to buff squad, and that's perfectly fine. I've tried it and it works, so consider it absolutely. Optimus Maximus and Bruticus. So no after that effect. Their damage is mid and their survivability is also decent. They were buffed recently, but the buff isn't just it's not good enough to kick them up a couple spots. They're okay, but again, no after that effect. They can just stall out, and for some players it can be helpful, but again, for some, like I addressed with Defense and Abominus, it can cause timeouts. So consider it. Magnabus and Tripredacus, their after that effect is really unfortunately it is just not good anymore. It gives very tiny amount of healing and it's very unreliable. It's just not good. Damage is okay, it's decent-ish, however survivability is on the lower side, and that's mainly because of huge, he has very long skill cooldowns, and in addition, you know, that survivability does in fact affect how much damage he can do, because obviously the longer you're alive, the more damage that you can do, so just something to consider. Superion and Devastator, no after that effect, decent-ish damage, you know, it's instant damage and element neutral, but no survivability. Victorian and Menasor, again, no after that effect. They have some goofy effect where they disable, but that effect is just so... it's unreliable. It's hard to pull off because there is a huge, really long casting time animation, and it has to overall it has to kill you. It's just not worth it. Just not worth it. Definitely the worst combiner to use for Wars right now. Low damage, low survivability, just avoid. So now we have for events, and well, partial defense is also for Wars. But now let's go for events and for offense. Now again, it's assuming that they are maxed out. So Volcanicus and Predaking, yeah, absurdly high damage, which you really want that for events, that he can easily reach the HQ. Computron and Leo Kaiser, again, they can easily reach the HQ and they can do very solid damage, right? And the Dino King, similar thing, easy to reach HQ and decent damage, not as strong as others, but it's okay, especially for zone 15. Omega Supreme and Overlord, a similar thing, you know, they can reach HQ easily, decent survivability, decent damage, decent, you know. Same thing really for Unation and God Neptune. It's just, you know, their differences, like for example this guy at the top, they just do it better. They can easily reach HQ, they can have more survivability, and they just do more damage, right? Now again, he's huge subject to changes, so Unation and God Neptune is someone I would avoid for now because he's still a subject to change. It's just unreliable. So if you haven't built him up yet, don't continue until we get something solid and definitive for him. Magnabus and Tripredacus, it's harder for them to reach HQ. Again, damage is okay, but survivability is a bit questionable. Skyrim and Galvatronus, same thing, just hard to reach HQ. And the rest pretty much apply to all these bots. You know, they have hard time reaching HQ. You know, some have decent survivability, but damage is just not there, so they're just not that viable for events. Now for defense. This defense applies for wars and defense in general. Skyrim and Galvatronus are still one of the best bets that you can have. Again, thereafter that effect also applies to your base, and it is extremely powerful. Computron and Leo Kaiser, very powerful on defense. Their 5-star skill is actually very interesting right now. On defense, it gives your base hack immunity, which can be helpful. Niche, but very helpful, and also, you know, it does a lot of damage, you know, to bots. It's very interesting overall. Omega Supreme and Overlord, their 4-star skill is mostly what you're gonna be running on defense. The 5-star can do a lot of damage, but it's easy to dodge, while 4-star skill is not so easy to dodge, and after the effect still applies, which makes your entire base stronger for a brief period of time, so that's really helpful. Raiden and Dino King, they're really solid, and that's about it, you know. The defense kind of really starts to fall apart now. We have 3 strong picks for defense, but others kind of dwindle down. You know, right? He can do decent damage to outposts, but that's about it. Defense on Abominus, he's kind of like a discount Sky and Galvatronus and Omega for that case. He has low survivability. He will apply decent after that effect, but that's all. Ruination God Neptune, kind of the same thing, you know. Not maybe you will use his 5-star skill if you have it for defense, but it's just not worth it at all, really. Volcanicus and Predaking, just not you can get much out of him on defense, really. Optimus Maximus and Bruticus, he can just stall a little bit, buy you some time, but that's all. And others, you know, they're just glass cannons that don't even hit that hard. They're just glass, okay. And here is for 3-star rarity. I am not gonna go too much in depth with these guys, you know, because 3 stars are temporary. You will get 4 stars way sooner than you think. So yeah, I ended up getting pretty much all 4 stars in a couple of months, like 3 to 4 months of playing. 4 stars that were available back then. And on my alt accounts, it's kind of a similar thing, you know, maybe 5 to 6 months, but you know, it may seem long, but you get them eventually, so try not to necessarily upgrade them based on the rating for 3 stars. It's there to give people context, but probably, you know, invest into someone who can give you more power later on down the line, because again, 3 stars, it's a temporary thing. You will get more out of it, so yeah. I guess that's pretty much it for this video. Now, I wanted to do it for a while, but again, I just never had time to do it. So, I hope the entire thing helps and kind of elaborates. And also, you can check all of my data sheets. Every single video, you can find them in the description. Link is always in the description of every single video, so feel free to check them out. And yeah, that's it for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.